The storyteller expresses that it has been a long time since Maleficent, Angelina Jolie, became gatekeeper to Princess Aurora, Elle Fanning, in the wake of saving her from her dad, King Stefan. However, the tale about Maleficent has been contorted to keep painting her as a reprobate. In the current day, Aurora is sovereign of the moors, managing every mystical animal. The pixies knock grass, Imelda Staunton, Thistlewhip, Juno Temple, and Flittle, Leslie Manville, drop by to tell Aurora something, alongside a little porcupine pixie called Pinto. She takes Aurora's crown and leads her to pursue her, just for Aurora to fall in the stream. As she leaves, she is met by Prince Philip, Harris Dickinson. Aurora acknowledges what is happening, and Philip proposes to her. She acknowledges, to the enjoyment of the relative multitude of pixies. Nonetheless, Dival, Sam Riley, hears this and flies over to tell Maleficent. Before he can complete his sentence, an exceptionally despondent Maleficent plunges down to go get Aurora. In Ulstead, Philip rides with General Percival, David Giossi, back to the realm. Like the greater part of the others in Ulstead, Percival sees Maleficent and the moorfolk as deadly beasts. Philip goes to his folks, King John, Robert Lindsay, and Queen Ingrid, Michelle Pfeiffer, to convey the news that Aurora has acknowledged his proposition. The two of them compliment him, and they anticipate having both Aurora and Maleficent present for a supper. We then, at that point, see Ingrid travel to a lower level in the palace where she has a few specialists manufacturing weapons. She meets a worker of hers, Lickspittle, Warwick Davis, who is currently making something risky by utilizing a specific blossom. It is likewise shown that Ingrid is involving the reviled shaft as a feature of her arrangement. Evil flies down to meet with Aurora. She transparently voices her endorsement over the commitment, yet Aurora simply needs Maleficent and Philip's family to get along. Evil realizes that she isn't needed in Ulstead, yet for the good of Aurora, she vows to appear and act. Dival helps her work on being affable, while Aurora gives her a shroud to cover her horns in order to make individuals in the realm more agreeable. Wrathful goes with Aurora and Dival into Ulstead to meet John and Ingrid. Things initially appear to be off base when Ingrid intentionally puts iron flatware out, realizing without a doubt how iron damages pixies. Ingrid begins to heap on by raising Maleficent's revile and the vanishing of the men in the fields, recommending she might have had something to do with it. The straw that broke the camel's back comes when Ingrid says that Aurora will currently have a genuine mother once she weds Philip. Pernicious furies out and spreads her wings to threaten everybody. At the point when she requests to Aurora that they leave, John out of nowhere seems to become sick prior to swooning. Ingrid causes everybody to accept that Maleficent has reviled John, however she denies it to Aurora. At the point when Aurora won't join her, Maleficent takes off. Ingrid has her henchwoman Gerda, Jen Murray, fire iron at Maleficent, making her fall into the sea. Minutes after the fact, an animal looking like her dips down and safeguards her. John is laid in his room. Aurora and Philip recommend that Ingrid use genuine affection's kiss on him to awaken him. Since she clearly doesn't cherish him and is, truth be told, the person who reviled him, it doesn't work. Gerda then, at that point, reports to Ingrid about the other animal that snatched Maleficent. Wrathful awakens to think that she is tended to. She meanders and goes over a social event of other dark fairies, or fays, including Connell, Shitelegifer, the person who saved her. Co-pioneer Aurora, Edgegrin, sees the people as the foe, faulting them for the vanishing of the pixies. They see Maleficent, and Aurora heads toward mock her relationship with a human. This makes her distraught enough to exhibit her power against Aurora, which he really observes incredible as he might suspect they can utilize her power against the people. Connell then, at that point, takes Maleficent across the land, which is a secret society of different pixies that have one-of-a-kind abilities. Connell likewise shows Maleficent that she is slid from a pixie phoenix, however her precursor involved her power for dull purposes and was solidified. He cautions Maleficent with regards to utilizing that sort of force. Pinter slips into the palace and tracks down the mushroom pixie, however she gets caught by Lickspittle and set along the other taken pixies. In the meantime, Aurora is remaining in the palace, with Ingrid claiming to be cherishing toward her, yet it turns out to be clear she is controlling, as she favors Aurora wear her old wedding dress rather than the one that the three pixies made for her. Lickspittle is then displayed to have finished Ingrid's weapon. He shows her how it functions. The bits of the bloom are blended in with iron powder to turn it red and make it immediately deadly to pixies. Lickspittle snatches a helpless dandelion pixie and makes it burst into dust with the smallest bit of the powder. Ingrid prepares to utilize it and has Gerda welcome, or rather, request, the moorfolk to go to Aurora on Philip's wedding. Amidst the festival, Maleficent faculties something isn't right. She travels to the moors and observes that Ingrid's warriors have taken the blossoms. They have likewise trapped her and shoot iron slugs at her, however Connell jumps in to save her, injuring himself. Different pixies ward off the fighters and return to let Connell go. Aurora broadcasts to different pixies that Ingrid has started a conflict against them, and they will battle together as a military. Wrathful stays close by as he passes on, in which he moves his embodiment to her while he turns out to be important for the Earth. The moorfolk start to show up in the realm for the function. Aurora then, at that point, detects something from the spot on her finger where she had been pricked. She goes over Ingrid's mysterious den and observes the shaft, which permits her to see that Ingrid wounded John with the reviled end. She additionally finds that Lickspittle is a pixie who had to work for Ingrid after she took his wings. Ingrid tracks down Aurora and has her watchman detain her. Ingrid has all the moorfolk locked inside the sanctuary as Gerda discharges the red powder inside, which kills a portion of the Tree Society. Outside, Maleficent and Butler lead different pixies to retaliate, however they are hit with various powder bombs, immediately killing some of them and constraining them to fall back. Aurora lets Philip know how his mom has treated, when he gains reality from Ingrid, who shows no regret. Philip resists her and leaps off the pinnacle, getting away on an inflatable. Butler plunges down and nearly kills Percival when he endeavors to strike another pixie, yet Philip intercedes. He tells Butler he doesn't need his mom's conflict, and he won't have Pixie a guilty conscience. Evil observes this and acknowledges Philip can be relied upon. She actually pursues his mom and faces her on the pinnacle. In the meantime, after another tree animal penances himself to save the three pixies, Flittle flies into the organ to forfeit herself, making her quintessence fill the organ with blossoms that prevent the powder from spreading. Knotgrass and Thistlewit then, at that point, fly in Gerda's face, making her tumble off the gallery to her demise. Aurora approaches prevent Maleficent from killing Ingrid, saying she realizes that she isn't quite so shrewd as is commonly said she is. Ingrid then, at that point, fires a bolt at Aurora, however Maleficent endures the shot and breaks down. As Aurora sobs, Ingrid tells her that she is the person who spread the tales about Maleficent being underhanded, as she needed to assume responsibility for the moors by clearing out the animals there. Aurora's tears then, at that point, make Maleficent recover into her strong phoenix structure. She makes the close-by tower break down, and Ingrid takes one final apprehensive action by losing her or the pinnacle. Baneful goes to save her, and they tumble across the ground. As Ingrid attempts to get away, she is found by Butler and different pixies. Outside, Maleficent inquires as to whether he genuinely cherishes Aurora, and he says he really does. Evil gives her approval, and Lickspittle comes to give her the reviled blade that Ingrid utilized. Baneful breaks the revile, making the axle vanish and for John to awaken. Ingrid is then exited the palace through plants before Maleficent transforms her into a goat for her discipline. Philip is glad to see his dad once more, and the two of them conclude they'll hold on to allow Ingrid to turn human once more. Aurora and Philip are formally hitched, with Maleficent strolling her down the passageway, and the people and pixies are incorporated into the two realms. Knotgrass and Thistlewit squabble about what shading Aurora's dress ought to be until a close-by bloom turns it blue, inferring that Flittle may in any case be alive. Baneful goes to rejoin different pixies as she says goodbye to the new couple, yet brazenly vows to be back for their child's initiating. The film closes with Maleficent taking off across the sky with the pixies.